It's the Memorial Day, so I will read this in English and Hebrew. This is Amir Shapira. He's the son of my father's uncle. He's the son of Yeshua, who is the youngest brother. My grandfather was the oldest brother, so he's a cousin of my father's, and he was a pilot, and he had an accident when he was 20 years old. Okay, so this is his story. He was born on the 9th of February 1935 in Petah Tikva. He finished high school. He was very drawn to literature and art. He got drafted to the Air Force, and he died on 28th of September 1955. So hardly had any time to live at all. So Yeshua Amir Shapira, בן חנה וישוע ז"ל, נכדו של זקן השומרים מר אברהם שפירא, נולד ביום ו' באדר א' תרצה בפתח תקווה, סיים לימודים, גילה נטייה לדברי ספרות ואומנות. אז כתבתי לו, פה אפשר לראות את כל these are memorials that he has for the Air Force, in his high school, all the stations in his short life. And I wrote a poem for him. I wrote, אמיר, לא הכרתי אותך, אבל אבא שלך ז"ל אח של סבא שלי. קראתי שאהבת אומנות וספרות, אז כתבתי שיר ללא מבנה שמבטא את הרהורי ליבי. So this is a poem I wrote. בין לבין, בין כעס לחמלה, בין אבן למלמלה, בין ילדות לזקנה, בין זיכרון לעשייה, בין רעב לשובע, בין כאב לשמחה, בין חרטה לעוצמה, בין דממה לשתיקה, התובנה. So basically I'm saying between rage and compassion, between stone and soft fabric, between childhood and old age, between memory and between doing, between acting, between starvation and satisfaction, between pain and joy, between regret and between strength, between silence and silence, between silence and silence is the insight. So I knew his parents. He was an only child. It was really difficult for his parents, especially his mother. She worked in the Ministry of Defense. Sadly, it was a really disgusting inheritance battle in our family, and my brother inherited half the house. The other half went to the brother of Ruby Rivlin, the president, because we're all related. He's not even blood relative, because his father married the mother of Ruby Rivlin, and he somehow inherited half a house in Herzliya Pituach. And it was just an inheritance battle. And I just think, okay, they have the property, they have a big house, they have a lot of money, they made a fortune from this inheritance because he died. And there was, instead of the house going to him, it went to relatives that had nothing to do with him, really. My brother tried to help the parents in practical matters because he fixes things, but the goal was always to inherit. I went there. I had a bond with his father over animals because he got me a job at a veterinarian, and because I wanted to study veterinarian medicine, which I realized didn't suit me at the end. So went to study other things and went more to artistic direction. But his father really loved animals, and he gave me my cats. A cat that, after my cat died in an accident, he gave me a cat that I really loved, and he let me choose the first kitten. He was raising dogs and cats, and had a beautiful little house with fruit trees, and they had visitors, and we used to visit every week. Almost every week, my mother used to drive there, and I think I got a lot of it because it was the only family relatives that really had contact with his parents, and there was always a feeling of sadness. His mother really loved books, and I'm just sorry I never really felt I bonded enough, and I really am sorry that at the end it was just money and property that was divided between the two the two most pushy people in the family. And I'm just sorry that the money didn't go towards what I think should have been going towards, um, preserving nature, towards some sort of a higher goal, a social goal, like scholarship for children who don't have enough money, or helping animals in distress because his father loved dogs and cats so much, helping people. I'm sorry they just became selfish property of people that are selfish and don't want to actually contribute to society. So I feel like life is like that. We're always in between these very extreme forces of ego and selflessness. And I think in yoga, which I practice, or any kind of poetry or writing, we try to build a bridge, because humanity is always between this materialism and then there's the spirituality. And at the end, we have the stone marking the death, but at the end, nothing is left but the spirit and the soul. So that's what I think about this death. I also wrote another memory for, so you go to this, I lit a candle for him, and now I'm going to, so this is a virtual candle lighting, and 251 candles. So I would like to include this. I also wrote a memory to a friend of mine, not a friend, it's somebody I just met the year my father died, and I was drafted to the army. He was a wonderful boy, really a boy, I could say. He died at the same age, and this is Arikol, and he was a paratrooper. He was born 19th of November 1963. Religious, moderate religious. He was very good pupil, very good in music. He loved animals, and he was very full of life, and he just did so much. He was the Israeli champion in what is it, combat? I don't really know how to translate it. His uncle, the brother of his father, died in battle as well in 1948. So he was just really an amazing person. I met his parents, amazing family, really, and this is their memorials. There's also one in, this is for the paratroopers, this is in his school. And there's also one at the, he was in Bnei Akiva. So I saw it, I was just walking by the Elkhorn and I saw his name. I met him 2 months before he died, and I wrote about that. And met him in a movie theater. He was dressed in paratroopers uniform. He wasn't very tall, but he's very muscular guy, full of life. And he called me. He got my phone number and he called me twice. He wanted to come to my the ceremony of when he finished the basic training. It was raining a lot in 1983, and it was canceled. And then I got a phone call from a friend that he died in Lebanon. Um, Very painful death he had as well. It's really tragic. And his family were Holocaust survivors. His grandmother survived the camps, I think. And so full of talent, so full of everything. And there's a movie on YouTube, if you look it up, Aryeh Yaakov Kol. There's a movie, Zal, Zichrono Livracha. There's a movie, just a really sweet guy, so full of life, and coming from a very good family that really cultivated his good traits of caring about other people. And just the short time I knew him, realized what qualities he had. And just, I think what we need to do now is just carry on this. When we meet people like that, we just have to take that with us, like strength. His name is Arya, which means lion in Hebrew. He's really a very strong person, very, very strong. And I think anybody that met him felt strengthened. He was the kind of person, when you meet him, you feel stronger when you meet him. There are people that when you meet them, they make you feel weak, and there are people that when you meet them, they make you feel strong. And then there are people that don't make you feel anything. But of those two extremes, he was just really a person that made everybody feel good and happy and was full of joy. And it's the price we pay for living in a country that has so many wars. And hopefully, one day peace will come. But it's important to remember the sacrifice and the price we pay for security. It's really sad. And I'm glad that I got to meet his parents and the family in the memorial about 2 years ago when I was teaching up from there. And just amazing how quickly the time passed and how I didn't know him for a long time, but what an impact he had on everybody that met him had such an amazing impact on their lives because he was such a person that had so much to give. And it makes you wonder why such a good person is taken away. But I think it's not up to us to ask these questions, really. The answer is very, you don't really have an answer to this kind of question. Why young people die so young when they have so much to give, and other people live long lives and don't really give us so much joy. It's a big question. It's a big, big, big question. But let's try to make the most of what we can and cherish those memories. So it's memorial. It's going to be the Memorial Day for soldiers, just before Independence Day. And it's going to start on tomorrow night. So I'm making this now already, this video. And because of the corona, there's not going to be any ceremonies, and the families can't really go there. But we're going to do it virtual, and everybody can light a candle. If you know somebody who can light a candle, you could read the stories. I don't think it's in English, but it's really interesting. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a life, even a short life. They lived so much. Some of them, like him, he's just so full of potential. I live not too far from where he used to live, and I often think when I pass the place, there's now a dog park there, how much he would have enjoyed sharing the big love for animals. Tel Aviv has changed now. A lot of people have dogs, and how much he would have enjoyed walking his dog along the streets leading to the ocean. And he loved the ocean as well. And I just think, wow, we have to really carry on and take with us the memories and tell about these people, and always try to take the good from every human encounter. When you meet a good person, take that with you as a light to be strengthened and fortified from having known good people. It's a good person.